Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chat and Craft with Lorraine. My name is Lorraine Tierney, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Warner, New Hampshire. And I love to come on and make cards and share cards, and hopefully hope you make some or help you make some great cards at home, because the more cards we make, the more cards we can send, and that really shares the joy with people. Twice. I get joy making them, they get joy receiving them. So I encourage you to send lots of cards. If you're watching today, I'd love it if you say hello. Anybody that comments on the Facebook part or the YouTube part will get entered into a drawing. I'll wait a couple of days for comments, and then I'll randomly pick somebody to receive a prize. I can only send prizes in the United States, but I welcome comments from everybody. So today we're going to play with this pack of paper called Masterfully Made. And I have to be honest, when it first came out in the catalog, I didn't like it. I was like, oh, I'm not going to order that. What could I make with that? And then I did a paper share. And so, of course, when you do a paper share, you get to see every piece. And I was cutting up every piece. And I thought, oh, I think I like this paper. It's always amazing in person to see the paper. And so I ordered myself a pack, and I am flying through it. I love it. I've made so many different cards with it. So I have some to show you today. A bunch of them I've already mailed out, and I'm not good at keeping a lot of the cards. I like to send them, so off they go. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Pam. Hi, Jan. So glad that you found me. I didn't give any advance notice today. I'm trying to find a new time that will work consistently for me to go live, and I haven't struck that perfect time just yet. So when I do, I'll be sure to let you all know. So here is some of the paper. We're going to use part of this piece today. Let me switch my camera so you can see. Hi, Michelle. So I love the colors in this. There's that Azure Afternoon and Berry Burst, and I always forget if it's Melon Mambo or Magenta Madness. I think it's Melon Mambo. Pumpkin Pie, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lolly, all kinds of yellows, and then some different colors on the back. And Stampin' Up! Really made this paper by ripping up different pieces of paper, which I think is pretty cool. I didn't think I would love this piece, but I'm going to show you some cards that I made with this one. And that has the pretty peacock on the back. I save my little scraps till the end. And then I end up getting rid of some of them. But, oh, love, love, love these flowers. They're just beautiful. I'm sure you've seen lots of cards with this pretty paper on the back. And there's a couple more in here. There's one that's all over flowers. There's that. This is one that has slightly different flowers, a few less colors, a little more muted, and pretty peacock on the back. And then there's one more piece that I've used quite a bit of so far. This one is almost like the one we're going to use today, except it has mountains and a little bit of a scene in it. So I'll show you what we're going to make, and you might get to see another card being made in action, because I just realized one of the ones I wanted to show you is over here and not yet put together. So let me show you what we're going to work on today. We're going to use Azure Afternoon, which I think is one of my new favorite colors. I have just a piece of white to go in the inside. And I'll show you how we're going to do this. And I think this can be used to tone down these cards a little bit if you want to. I'm not sure I succeeded in toning them down, because then I put bright things on the front of them. Oh, that's pretty too, isn't it? On that side. Oh, that's really pretty. I'm into bright colors these days. And today is a pretty dark and gloomy day outside here. It's raining. I came up with this layout. This is not an original layout, but I need to make a bunch of thinking of you cards and get well cards. So this was a layout I thought I could make lots of cards, and it wouldn't be too time intensive, but they would be pretty. So that's just a piece of patterned paper on there, and I put the measurements in the description. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment on this little piece of basic white, and it's going to line up on the edge of the mat. I am not going to center it. I'm going to put it on the edge. So for my sentiment, I'm going to use the Thinking of You from the Layering Leaves stamp set. Has great sentiments, great font, and some leaves, and the leaves coordinate with the bow punch that we have. Bow, 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 not bow, bow. So I'm using Thinking of You, and I'm going to use a little edge on my paper there. I'm going to use the Azure Afternoon. Oh, I think I typed it in wrong in the description. Azure Afternoon. And this is a juicy wet ink pad, and I don't want to get a halo around it, so I find it easier to turn the ink pad over and stamp on and ink my stamp that way rather than pressing it in, and I'm tempted to press it in a little bit too far. We are going to put a little piece of DSP over here on the edge, so I don't want my sentiment to be totally centered. I'm going to put it over this way a little bit. Love that color. Love it. Now, when you're gluing a piece of DSP or anything onto white paper and you have white on the background, it's really hard to see if you get it lined up. You might think that's lined up, and then when you pick it up and look at it, you have a white border. So I'm going to put it on top of the blue just to get that lined up so I can see a little better. And then I'll glue it on. Having that contrast there should help a little bit. And I'll show you a trick I did on one of them. Okay, now I'm going to put this on here. And you'll see this is a pretty quick card. And this is going to go about, I'm thinking that's about 2/3 of the way up. People talk about breaking your card into thirds. I'm not always good about doing that, but it seemed to work for this one. I'm going to try to get this straight. And I'm just going to the edge of my patterned paper, not to the edge of the cardstock. So that's going to go there. And then I used this bow punch, and I cut a piece of paper about 1.5 inches wide, and then show you. This is a little more than 1.5 inches, but 1.5 inches would just cut one sprig out and not get too much paper over here. Because I'm not using this right now, I don't want to waste cardstock or punch something that I'm not going to use, even though I have a bin of those things that keep getting bigger and bigger. So I'm not hearing anybody else commenting. I hope you're still there, or I'm not seeing anyone else commenting. So I want to put a leaf on. I think I'm going to do the darker color, or I might do both, but it's intended, if you look at the picture, to go the other way. For some reason, I always think I want to put it this way, but it bumps into my words too much. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put one there, and I think I'm just going to put one. I wasn't sure if I wanted one or two. Oh, Michelle says put both. All right, let me put this one on and then look again. I'm going to add a little liquid glue, and I'm going to try to line up part of the stem to cover that seam. There we go. All right, I'm going to take Michelle's word for it and put two of these on there. Just off center a little bit. My cat put one lower. Yes. Like that, Michelle, or even lower? I might flip it over. Do I want to? No, I'm going to have it go the opposite way. You can hear my cat is saying hello. We affectionately call him Fat Boy. I'm not even sure I remember the last real name he had. But he's not quite so fat anymore. We've had to put him on a diet. Okay, I'm going to add a little tiny bow to the bottom of that. I cheat and use this bow maker. I'm using just some white twine. And I want it to be a small bow, so I'm going to put my two pieces on my bow maker close together. The further apart you put them, the bigger the bow you get. So this is just a tiny bow, and it's a little tricky getting it through. When there's not enough room to stick your finger through, I try to use my scissors to pull it through. And of course, when you're live, it doesn't work. There we go. And then I'm just going to make a little knot. It's just still right over left, left over right kind of knot. And you slide it off, and you have a cute little bow that I'm going to use a glue dot. A glue dot is kind of big, even the mini glue dots for this. So I'm going to use my thumb to roll it just a little bit so that it's longer and skinnier. I don't know if you, yeah, you can see that. I've rolled it, and I'll just set my bow right on top of that. And then I like kind of long strings. I'll do that. And I'd like some azure or blue bling to put on here, but as you can see, I've used almost all of my blue. So I've been coloring my lemon lolly ones. I posted something about that today on my Facebook page. So I'm going to try coloring a couple of these with my dark azure afternoon blend. Hi, Tracy. And I'm going to use, I'm glad you think it's cute. I'm going to use the bullet tip to do that. And I just rub it around on here. I've done two of the bigger ones, and I'm going to do one of the smaller ones. Now they might not look super blue right there, but I think when I put them on the card, they're going to pick up more of the blue color. And if they don't, we won't use them. Or we'll try coloring a pearl. No, these are going to be, they're going to be a little green. And I don't want that color. I'm sure I'll use them on something else. But I brought over just some basic pearls also. These also take the color really, really well. And that's going to have more of the blue color that I want. I'm going to do 3 little ones. Give your embellishments a little press down before you lift them up, and that way you can be sure to keep the glue dot on the back of them. So those are the perfect color now. I feel like I got, there was something on top of that one. I think I'll put it right there. So there you go. I have to put my white on the inside, but there's a thinking of you card. And I don't think that's super bright or super wild. Some people say the paper is too bright. Here are a couple other cards I made with the same layout. I did this one in the landscape, and most people call this a tent fold and put the card like this with the tent fold. I find this kind of spreads. So if I cut a tent fold, I try to use it landscape, and it stands up really well. So here's, this one has pumpkin pie and the melon mambo and the berry burst. And then these two use that other paper that I didn't think I would like very much. And I paired some Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock ink with it. I started, you can see here, I started with a bigger piece, and I thought that was too big. I didn't like that. So I switched to a longer, narrower piece. And I want to show you True Confessions. So this piece of DSP, I did not line up quite right on my white because I was doing it on this. So I took my Lost Lagoon blend, because that's what color this it's matted on, and just colored in the edges with that, and it hid it a little bit more. So this is the other card that I've made quite a few of with this paper. I'm going to put this one together quickly and show you. The measurements that are on this description are not for this card. Jan, I think you have this paper. I think you got, I think you got this paper. Nancy, you're asking me where that gadget can be found. Oh, the bow tying gadget. Yeah, I got this on Amazon. I can try to find the link and put it in the comments. It comes in really, really handy. It ties a very pretty bow. And it doesn't come with very good directions, but there's YouTube videos, of course, that show you how to use it. So I'm going to try to get this centered. This card might look familiar to some of you. I used this for a thank you that I made recently for a lot of people. I'm going to get a smaller sentiment to put on the corner of this one. I'm going to put Hello Friend from the Inked and Tiled, another one of my favorite stamp sets. I want you to check, Jan, and see if you have this paper. Not right this minute, but I think you do have it. If you don't, I'm happy to order it for you and for anyone else that would like it. So I typed Hello Friend right there. And then I used the Gorgeously Made dies. These dies are another one of my favorite. They have the two leaves that you see here. This is for a sentiment. This gives you a squiggly edge of paper. Kind of looks like torn paper, but it's not. And then I love this notebook edge die. I use that with my typewriter stamp a lot. Okay, so I'm going to put these on. You could use adhesive sheets behind these, but I like it to have a little bumpiness or texture to it. On this application, I don't want it 100% flat. And I'm not worrying if it hangs over the paper because the white is smaller than the card base, so it won't hang over the edge of the card base, I hope. Hopefully it won't make a liar out of me. So I'm just adding some glue. And I'll hold that down just a little bit. And then this is going to get centered on here. And you can either do that with the foam adhesive strips. I prefer to use those, but I forgot to bring them over. Or you can use a whole bunch of dimensionals. I'm going to use some of the outer edges of this as well. You never waste a bit of your dimensional pack, right? You use every last bit. Nobody sees these little scraps underneath. I'll just go this way for that. The foam adhesive sheets are a little bit thicker than the dimensionals. They raise it up a little bit higher. And then I'm going to add that. And we can put a couple more pearls on there. Oop, wrong end. I like to use the bullet end. Okay. But because it's alcohol ink in the blends, it dries really quickly. Put one up here. And I think I'll put one over here. So those are the cards I've made with this. I'm looking on my wall behind me to see if there's any other cards. I don't think so, but I love this design too. And if you think the cards are too bright or too wild, you just see a little bit on this one. So that's kind of fun. So thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. I'd love it if you'd like or share this video. If I can help you order some products, the paper, or any of the things that you need to make cards, I would love to help you with that. And there's one more look at the card we made today. I hope you have a great day. If it's a rainy day where you are, make sunshine by making some cards. I can move this over quick. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.